Good evening, everybody. This is Taz Dallas Stars hockey fan here. Doing a second live because I did a live on YouTube earlier to try and express some of my concern and about what's going on here in Texas. There, turn a light on so you can see me better. And the live that I did on the YouTube platform was about 15 minutes and 40 odd seconds long, and yet only 4 minutes and some odd seconds was ever published. So I don't know what the reason for that was, but in any case, I'm doing this StreamYard live in hopes that it doesn't get cut off and that I can get my full message across. So basically, here we go. I titled this Take a Stand, Texas, Texas Unite, wherever you want to call it. Basically, I want to get support from our fellow Texans, my fellow Texans, in expressing our disappointments, being appalled, shocked, dismayed, whatever, about the Texas electric companies that are currently gouging the people of Texas with rates so outrageous because of all the blackouts and the grid almost collapsing this past week with the severe cold weather. This is something I feel that is very immoral and flat out wrong. In my opinion, the Texas state government needs to step in and tell these electric companies, hey, you cannot raise the rates that you got going on past whatever your rate was back on Saturday, the 13th of February, when the storm basically was starting. Bottom line, little basic history for those who are not familiar. About 2011, there was a cold streak that had hit Texas, put a great strain on the Texas grid. And back then, 10 years ago, experts had come in to evaluate the situation and what had happened. And they told these electric companies and our regulatory committee that watches over the grid that the Texas grid as it stood could not survive or sustain very much for a very long time in events of extreme cold. And they have even told them what needed to be done in order to fix the problem by upgradings which include techniques and devices to protect the circuitry, the switches, basically anything and everything that could be a target for failure from extreme cold. So they had 10 years to get this done. Did they do it? No. And whether it was just from pure incompetence, greed, or just a plain attitude that, it happened once, it won't happen this bad again, we're Texas. I don't know. I don't know, wasn't there, But in the end, bottom line, upgrades weren't made, changes weren't done, and this state came very dangerously close to being without power, possibly for months. I mean, they did react and kept the power going, so to speak, by doing what they called rollout blackouts. that were only supposed to last anywhere from 15 minutes to an hour for each section that was blacked out. Well, this didn't happen. Uh, People were left without power for 7 hours, all the way up to 72 hours plus. In fact, there may be still people in this state right now that don't have power because of the damage done to all the substations, power lines, and even plants, power plants. So, like I said, I feel that because of their negligence, being the power companies, to do the upgrades that was required and suggested back 10 years ago is what directly caused the massive collapse of the Texas grid that happened. I firmly believe that if the grid or if the power companies did all the upgrades way back when, that, yeah, we probably still would have had some outages here or there, but the severity of the outages would have been negligible. In fact, the northern states, I have a boss, came from Colorado. And she had told me that they would have, if they had an outage, their power would usually be up within, 15 to 30 minutes. Yes, and I understand up north they do already prepare for the severe weather and the severe cold because that's part of their everyday winter climate, which is understandable. But when experts from those areas come down and tell you, hey, you need to do something or else you're going to have problems when it happens again, no action's taken. Yeah, somebody needs to be held accountable. And part of my deal that I done to voice my opinion, and I urge every Texan who sees this to do the same thing that I did this morning. I wrote all of my major governing officials, my Texas state representative, my Texas state senator, my U.S. congressman, and both of my U.S. senators, expressing my concerns over the electric companies creating these massive rates and these massive bills that they're telling people that they have to pay, that they owe in the naming of or under the guise of cost and demand. Because demand skyrocketed, that's what caused everything to collapse, which is true. But now they're saying in order to fix the issue, we need more money. Okay, getting the money from us customers is not the answer. Now, if you were to do it to be proactive, to implement changes to prevent something like this, then yeah, that's fine. That's totally agreeable. And anyways, but now at this point in time, let's face it, folks, they're in reactive mode. They're in reaction mode. They are trying to cover their tail ends, and they're trying to make us flip the bill for all the repair work and for any upgrades that they may or may not do. I mean, they didn't do it 10 years ago, so is it feasible to think that they won't do it again? Got to think about it, folks. But, I mean, come on, guys. One, I also think an investigation should be in place. And if there's any deceitful or secretive motives revealed in this investigation as to why the upgrades weren't done, then by all means, those involved, past and present, need to be held legally accountable for what has happened last week. And then furthermore, like I said, the rates need to be retroactively actively placed back to what the rates were on February 13th, which is the last Saturday before the storm really hit us. And then as far as the repairs and upgrades go, the electric companies need to suck it up, take their losses on the chin for their mistake. If they need money, go to the banks, get loans, go to your private investors who are paying you for these technological advances, for equipment, upgrades, whatever. Go to them for money. And then finally, ask the federal government for aid to help with your repairs and upgrades if you so do them. Don't expect us to flip the bill. We didn't create this problem. We know you guys didn't create the cold weather and all that stuff. I get that. And I'm not saying that. But when you knew 10 years ago that the grid was not adequate for such temperatures and did nothing to improve the situation, then yes, you guys are responsible. Every bit. It makes me sick to my stomach when I'm reading news articles and I read about how some poor woman in South Texas is getting charged more now on her electric bill from the past week than she has paid in a whole year. You guys can't tell me there's something wrong with that. I myself am on a fixed plan, a fixed contractual plan, but yet I'm going to have to pay double now for my next month's bill, easily doubled from what I'm tracking. And I was out of power for about 24 hours. And I mean, there's some people out there. I know some people in my own town didn't lose power at all because they were next to a hospital or next to a police station or next to a firehouse, which, don't get me wrong, those three entities, yes, they need to not lose their power, especially the hospitals. I get that, and I have no qualms about that whatsoever. But when you got these folks who are still without power getting sent bills of an outrageous amount for what electricity they had before they lost their power is absolutely ridiculous. And like I said, I'm on a fixed income, that I have a 3-year contract with. Well, apparently the contract is only as good as they seem fit to them. Think about these poor souls who are on those variable rate plans. Them poor souls are really getting hammered. The electric companies are laying the gauntlet down on them with ruthless and cruel, malicious intent to cover their own tails, to cover their fat little wallets. It needs to stop. It needs to stop now. So I'm going to close with this, guys. Every Texan, please find out who your state reps are, your state senators are, your U.S. congressman or woman, and find out who your state senators are. And I forgot to say, I even sent a letter to Governor Greg Abbott's office too, concerning all this, pretty much what I said here. So find those people who represent you wherever you live and email them, find their webpage, contact, voice your opinion, and let them know that you will not settle for this barbaric and appalling greed that's going on right now with these electric companies. Anyways, I'll get off my soapbox. Love all you guys out there who are subscribed to me. If you like what I have to say, subscribe for those who aren't subscribed. Notification bar, make that little bell ding-a-ling. And God bless you, and take care of yourselves. And for those who are struggling and still don't have power, I pray to the Lord Jesus Christ that you guys get your power soon. And I pray for everybody who's suffered so badly in this. I've was really blessed. I've had minimal effect from this, but I know there's a lot of souls out there who are pretty much devastated out of house and home through breaking pipes and water damage and all that things. My heart goes out for all of y'all. I pray for y'all, and y'all have a blessed night, a blessed week. Love y'all. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like this feed, and then hit the notifications. And feel free to make comments on those. Let me know if you guys think I'm way off base on this, or if I'm actually spot on. So, and the whole intent of this was not to go live to create a big list of people watching. It's meant for everybody to be able to watch it later on in the replay. So anyways, God bless you guys. Take care of yourselves, and have a good night.